We're on the air, and this is the 89th episode of Whatcha Drinking, and I'm Mike Copera with podcastcondition.com, and we've got a few of our regulars this evening. We got AJ, Dan, and Kevin. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Like we're all opening up our beers, it sounds like. Does anyone have an Irish beer? Besides, I know AJ, I know you've got something over there.
I do. I have I don't know if it's 2005 or 2006 because I actually got it from a friend of mine, but this is a 2005-2006 Guinness for an extra stout.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes. So have you done much aging of Guinness? Because I've not done that before.
No, but the extra stout I believe is like 7.5 or higher percentage. So I figured, what the hell? Let's give it a shot. See what happens.
That's
Should
interesting.
be interesting.
They weren't. I went to Dublin in 2008, and that was the first time I ever had that one.
Yeah.
And I liked it a lot. And I remember them saying they didn't sell it in North America at the time.
Yeah, and actually I got this from an old neighbor of mine, and his daughter had gone to Ireland and brought this back. I brought him back a 4-pack of it. He didn't like it.
Okay.
So I moved into my house in 2005, back when I had my old house in 2005, and it was either 2005 or 2006. I was over there just drinking with him one night, and he's like, "Oh, you're a beer guy, right? I have this beer. There's 3 left in the 4-pack. I hated it. Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Okay, I've never had it." Because for some reason I couldn't find it. I was over in Dublin in 2005.
Okay.
I couldn't find it when I was over there, but I did have regular Amstel, and that's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, they don't export it.
I don't remember that. That's
It's awesome. But yeah, he gave me like a 3-pack of it. I downed 2, and they were pretty good. And this one just happened to end up, I forgot about it in the back of my cellar. And when I went search for Irish beers, it just popped up. So I said, "What the hell? Let's give it a shot." If it's terrible, I'm gonna drink pour it, and we'll open up something else. But
I had that one. I had that for lunch at the brewery when I was there, and I thought, "Oh, this is awesome. Too bad they don't ever sell it here." And
did you have it in the Gravity Bar?
No, I actually had it in a different, like in a restaurant in the same building.
Okay. I think the Gravity Bar is awesome.
That's the one at the top, right, with all the
the 360 view of Dublin.
Yeah, and yeah, I had a few up there too, but just of the regular ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good place to go. I mean, if anybody has a chance to make it over to Ireland, definitely put that on your agenda to go to.
Yeah. So the part of the building you're in, it's kind of shaped like a glass of Guinness, and the top of the bar is got windows 360 degrees around, so it kind of looks like the head of a poured glass of Guinness.
Yeah.
And you get a great view of the city. Just any 360 degree window around is pretty cool. But
you basically see all of Dublin.
Yeah.
From that bar, and it's awesome. So I mean, you just grab a pint. The bar's centrally located right in the middle of the room. So you just grab a bar, go to the window, and just make like a couple treks around, and you can see everything there is to see.
Oh, you know what's funny is I just realized I'm looking in the corner of the computer here. My Google Plus profile picture is me in that exact bar.
Nice.
Like this.
Nice.
Well played, sir. Well played.
So what are you drinking, Kevin?
I have not said a sip yet, but it is from around here. It's you probably can't see that. It's Church Street Brewery, which I don't know, but it's from Itasca.
Yeah.
The Crimson Clover Irish Red. I have no idea. I just let me see.
Yeah, they've got those in variety packs that you can mix and match at Binny's, right?
I got a 6-pack of it.
Yeah.
Because as you know, Mike, I'll go. When we're coming up to our St. Patrick's Day party, I'll go around for from mid-January on, try to find all the Irish or Irish-style beers I can get. This year was much more difficult than most others. This one's all right.
I agree. Like it was really hard to find a lot of craft examples of an Irish style.
It was.
I was missing I was missing the Brian Brew from Three Floyds. That beer, I look forward to that every year.
I haven't had it for probably 2 years.
I didn't think they made it. I went on their website. I didn't even see anything about it.
No.
That's one of the best. That's a good one.
I don't know if they did release it this year or not, but if you actually go by the new beer calendar, you probably should have started looking for Irish beers in like November.
Yeah, yeah.
That seems to be the release schedule. At least 2 months before you're actually supposed to buy stuff.
That's probably why I missed
Isn't
the
that what the
Sam Adams,
just
Sam Adams Irish Red.
I'm sure Sam Adams Summer is coming out next week.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just
No,
around the corner for pumpkin beers.
The last couple of years, I've gotten stuff from O'Fallon and Harpoon, Celtic Ale, and a handful of others.
Brooklyn's got one.
What's that?
I saw the one from Brooklyn too.
Oh, I did get that. I do have that. I've had that the last few years. That's pretty good. The stout.
Yeah.
But I've got
Moylan's.
I had a
Moylan's is
guy-
another one.
variety this year.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Moylan's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found the one from Flying Dog. Really knocked my socks off in any way. It wasn't that great, but it was, they're not all. What's that?
I've never had that one. The Flying Dog.
Yeah. Yeah, the first time I actually saw it, because I was looking for
I find that there's
another
not
style.
one
So.
Flying Dog that I actually enjoy.
Hmm.
There's like one or two.
It's been a while.
But like I consider them a pretty average brewery, to be honest with you.
Compared to a lot of the ones that are out now, I agree. But I have to admit, I haven't revisited them in so long. They were, pretty good example of stuff back in the day when we were first getting into the beers, but
Yeah.
like
It's definitely good
for a long
gateway
time.
beer. It's good gateway craft beer, in my opinion. But I will say that they have some of the best label art ever. In the craft
Agreed.
beer community. The guy that does their art is
Agreed.
fantastic.
There's no other brewery out there with a vagina, a dog
I don't know if that's true.
like that.
Sounds like a challenge.
I think it's
Is that who's on the wheel next week?
Yeah.
and the gauntlet is thrown. Oh man.
So I got this one. This is really freaking good. Dan, have you opened yours yet? I don't know.
Yeah, I did actually.
I
I
usually
mean, either
go-
way. All right, no, that's fine.
What do you think yours?
I haven't tasted it yet, and I've just opened it up actually. This is Winter Slayer by Arcade Brewing. I was going to say Arcadia. It's Arcade. Little wax on the top there. And it's 9.1% ABV. I didn't get the IBUs on it, but it doesn't smell ultra hoppy. It's an oat wine style ale, and the nose is a little funky. It kind of has a sourish note to it, but I don't think it's infected or soured, beer wise, and I don't think that they used wild yeast. So I'm going to take a sip and see what is going on. Huh.
Yeah, I was looking at that beer.
It's not bad. This is going to be interesting when it warms up a little bit. It's not like an average barley wine. I mean, you definitely get the mouthfeel from the oats. It's much thicker and slicker in your mouth going in. But it's the flavor is not hugely impacting on me right now. Maybe that's because it's a little cold. It feels like it could warm up a little bit, maybe be better. But I'm not getting anything off about it. So it's going to have to warm up and see if it wows me. But right now it tastes okay. So it's not bad.
How do you compare it to a wheat wine?
I haven't had a wheat wine. I take that back because I had the Bear Tree. Yeah, the wheat definitely has this isn't as sweet. A wheat wine tastes a little bit sweeter. This is not as sweet. And maybe a lot of that just has to do with how they're mashing and what they're aiming for as far as a final product after fermentation and everything. It's not a lot of anything right now. So I'm kind of wondering how it's going to be when it warms up, because there's a little sweetness, there's a little fullness on the palate. There's not a lot of hop presence, so they're not going for like that American style barley wine sort of punchy in the mouth with hops thing. But I'm not getting a lot of what would be like English characteristics off of the yeast that they use, like a lot of esters kind of making it more fruity. Although there's a little bit of fruitiness in there, but it's hard to taste, to be honest. So yeah, it's just kind of sitting there right now.
I'm loving this one that I've got. You mentioned wheat wine, and that's what this one is here that I've got. This is the 2014 Bear Tree from Two Brothers here in Illinois. Binny's now here in Illinois has like a 2-pack that they're putting together. So it's Dan. Did you say it was the 2013 and the 14, or was that the 14 and the 15?
No, it's the 13 and the 14 and a glass.
Okay, I thought I saw that, and yeah, so it comes with a nice glass. But this is interesting. Like when I first opened it, it's real. It's got a caramely smell to it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sweet, but then when I take a sip, I realized what that is it's the Cabernet barrels that they stored these in. So this is it's a little confusing, and I didn't understand what they meant, because on the front of it they categorize this as a barley wine style Weiss beer.
Right.
And here on the back they describe it that it's an aged beer that they put in Cabernet barrels from Napa Valley, and they call it a complex wheat wine. So yeah, this beer is amazing because it's really it's got a lot of wine characters to it. It smells just like a red wine, like a Cabernet, but it doesn't have a lot of hop to it. It's not like you said, Dan, one of those American style barley wines or anything like this. It's a barley wine style Weiss, so it's kind of lighter, but it's nice and clear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we definitely see the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was actually like, that's the clearest I've ever seen through a beer on this show. But it's I would have to get more of these, and I almost am tempted now to get that 2-pack, because this is something
I would love to do a side by side with the Terrapin Gamma Ray. I don't know if you guys have had that or not.
No.
That was Terrapin's wheat wine, and I literally wish I bought like 40 cases of it because it was that good.
Wow.
Nice.
And I've been searching for wheat wines. That was the first wheat wine that I've had, and I've been searching for additional wheat wines ever since. So I would love to do a side by side of a Gamma Ray and that. I don't even know if Terrapin still makes it. I don't think that they do, but I may have one in the cellar.
Nice.
From like 2010.
This would definitely work well in the cellar. It's it even says here that you can cellar it for years to come. It's 11.2, so I could see this one really being something to hang on to. I might pick some more of this up. I just like it a lot.
Is that what's the name of that beer? I know it's a wheat wine, but is it something about a
Bear
tree?
Tree? Yeah, Bear Tree.
Tree. Yeah.
Bear Tree. Okay. I know I had that a couple years ago, and it's not sticking in my memory as anything one way or the other. And now you've intrigued me. I'm sure.
Yeah, I would revisit this one.
Yeah, I mean, I had the 2013 last year at they had tapped it at Firkin for one of their rare beer nights.
Wow.
And I remember it was okay, but it was of all the offerings that they had during that sort of run of weeks back from like October through December sometime. It was one of the ones where I was like, well, I don't have to come back for that one. So I wonder if they changed things up for this this version. Well,
I hate to say this because I know you guys are like local to the brewery, but Two Brothers I kind of put in the same category as Flying Dog. I've had a bunch of stuff from Two Brothers and I like it, but would I like search it out? And I don't know if they do rare stuff or not. I really haven't had any of like rare Two Brothers, but just their base lineup, I would put probably in the same category as Flying Dog as maybe like a gateway craft brew to get you, from, your Sam Adams or, your BMC into something better. That's maybe your first offering, and then you move into like the heavier stuff after that. But
I agree with that.
I do think they're a solid brewery, though. I everything I've had from them, I have enjoyed.
With the exception of like I'm like 15 minutes away from them right now, and so the exception, their regular lineup, the only one I really get with any regularity is the Cain and Evil, and I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, I would say it's a fair assessment, but there's some like Cain and Evil. Revelry's another one, which is their Imperial Red Ale.
Their Revelry is great. And there's been a handful that I've had like at the brewery that that
are hop juice.
Local or like hop juice.
Hop juice is
black and the
black hop juice was awesome.
But I think that's a fair assessment of their regular lineup. Like I'm not Domaine DuPage is exactly what he said. Same with their whatever their pale ale is.
Oh, the Bitter End, which was actually one. Yeah, that was one of my biggies.
Great.
That's not terrible. I like that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's my beef with them though. First of all, for the longest time, their website has looked like it was like one of the first websites ever been on the internet for like almost like 20 years. It was the worst website I've ever seen. It's finally better, but they just revamped all their packaging, and it is not for the better. Like they all look very similar now. It's very plain packaging. There's no photos. There's no drawings or anything like that. It's just plain packaging with the name of the beer on it, and they all look very similar. They're just different colors, and I just don't know if that was the right way to go. I don't know the reasoning behind that, but I don't know what could the strategy behind that possibly be. If anybody's got any idea?
I've seen that in my own business. I'm in the CPG business, and you just see packaging changes that you're like, that's no good, or what's the point of that? And that's you probably get a wide reaction of people across. I don't care one way or another. I kind of thought like you did. Yeah, that was at best a parallel move.
No, what I would say is that, especially in that particular move, is that seemed very much sort of like a packaging by either some sort of marketing analysis consensus or by some sort of person brought in as a consultant, to whip them into shape, so to speak. Because you went from, you're exactly right, you went from very distinctive to something that the only thing you can think it was trying to do is please a lot of different people rather than focus on projecting an image of the product as being a specific product.
But I just don't get how that does that, because if you're on the shelf with like 100 to 200 different beers, in a store as big as like what do you call it? What's the one in the West Coast? Bevmo or Binny's here in the Midwest, or I don't know what kind of chains they might have in your neck of the woods, AJ. But there's so many different,
even like a
so many different
Mariano
choices out there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't give yourself a personality or some sort of differentiation, I don't see how how that was a good move. It's
I'm actually
something
going to
that
agree with you guys on this one.
Okay.
Cut him off, Mike. Cut him off.
No, I want to hear this.
I think it's kind of brilliant for how simple they went.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because think of how much money they're saving on like not having to hire an artist to make labels, or like pay someone to come up with like great ideas for label art or whatever. So I'm sure that's saving them a ton of money, and they can take that money and put it back into the beer. So I don't know if that's what they're doing. I don't know if that was maybe part of their decision-making process, but I support local. So I mean, for you guys, that's super local. And I do like simple. I have respect for the flair, but I also have respect for simplicity.
Yeah.
Because if people are more concerned about what goes into their beer than what goes onto their label, I'm going to respect those guys more than people with flashy labels and crappy beer.
Agreed.
No, yeah, but I don't think that they were flashy to begin with. I mean, they had some nice art on there, but it was pretty simple stuff though. And, like the I want to say that they had what was the IPA that was barrel aged? It began with an S.
Heavy-handed.
Yeah, well, the heavy-handed is their Harvest Ale.
That's
no, this was it was like their D series or C series or something like that.
You're talking.
It was like an oak aged.
They had a whole series of them aged in the how do you fooders?
Founders, foeders, or whatever. Exactly. Footers. But that was basically what they had on the front was a footer, and every beer that was out in that series was a different color label, but with that same motif. Right. So they weren't like putting like Three Floyd's sort of label art aspirations into this stuff, but it was distinctive, and so I hear where you're going with saving money maybe on graphic design, but someone's still got to design this stuff. I mean, put the colors on there. So I'm sure they're paying something for that.
That's what I thought when you said that.
And I think that you're still losing a certain amount of identity there because it's just basically become like the Two Brothers Whirlpool or whatever that motif is in there, and then just different colors. Although I will say that's just on the cans. The bottles are, like the large format bottles, they still have different art for that. So.
Well, think about this. Think if you're, I don't know if you guys get 6-point out there at all, or if you've had any 6-point stuff. But 6-point is very similar in their label design as
that's true.
As Two Brothers. I mean, it's really just a different color can.
But they're not going to be confused with anyone else on the shelf.
What's that?
They're not going to be confused with anyone else on the shelf. They've got those little Red Bull cans in the little box that nobody else has. So I agree that they're very simple in their label, but a 6-point beer as soon as you see it. You know what I mean?
Good point. Good point.
But at the same time, you're right when it comes to staying local. I'm sure they're doing it. I don't think it's a move that creates new customers, unfortunately, when it comes to a plain label like that. Because to me, I'm sorry, packaging is pretty important. It draws your eye and it makes you buy one or the other. Dan, that beer that you've got right there, that's like the craziest label. It's got yellow wax on it, drags your eye right there. Just like a ton of the Pipeworks bottles that are on the shelves now, they're all crazy labels and. It really grabs your eye.
Yeah, and it's got a nice character on there. That's important too, is to have a very sort of distinctive sort of look to it. And this is very much going for the sort of comic book motif that there are other people doing it, but it's a good example of the style where there's this comic book character drawn very much to what you would expect to find if you were into that sort of nerddom, which a lot of people are.
That does become cyclical though, because you get all of a sudden everybody is like that, and then all of a sudden a Matilda sticks out because it's just a white label with a shadow of a goose on it.
Agreed. Like you ever see Maine Brewing? Their labels are nothing but plain white, a little smiley face on it, and that's it. And they're fantastic beers, and they also catch your attention because it's like you said, it's different than everything else. So yeah, I agree.
So here's an interesting question because I think this may also have something to do with why they're so simple. And you guys should be able to answer this really easily. What do their tap handles look like?
Oh, it's just it say Two Brothers on them, and
they
have the swirly on them. Yeah.
That's it. So it's a simplistic tap handle too.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, maybe they're putting all their money in tap handles. And if that's the case, then they're focusing more on keg sales than they are bottle sales.
I don't know.
And that's where their money is going.
And it could be because they do have a huge new location because they are based out of Warrenville where Kevin's at near. But they bought the Walter Payton Roundhouse, right? And
that's been a few years now, but that's
all their stuff up there. So there's been there though. That's the only reason why to me it's like kind of a newer idea, but that's probably put out a lot more about. Are you guys losing me?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
You're back though.
Sort of.
All right, that's good. All right. Well, it's kind of funny because today I got a gift from a friend. I was just about to show you guys. This is something that I've been seeing online, and so a friend of mine grabbed me a beer cap map.
Is that what that is?
Oh yeah.
This is the state of Illinois.
Yeah, they have the whole country, or you can get each individual state. That's right.
That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to fill it with just Illinois breweries, and it's hard to find just Illinois. So I've got I know, dude. Don't even start with me. You should see all the bottle caps that I went through. I have two.
Oh no!
No, come back!
Illinois ones that I can actually find. So I've got Get Lucky Only, Half Acre. There's I got the Bourbon County. I got a lot of different variations of all the evolution of Goose Island, basically. But there's the. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
My headphones just died, I think. Hang on a second.
No,
do you have a white and a gold Bourbon County?
I have to come back. I can't hear you guys, so I have to plug in.
I think you're on a delay. Oh no. Oh no.
Now I've
No.
lost visible of him.
That's okay. Wait, he's getting a gun. He's going to shoot the computer. He's had enough.
Wearing bottle caps. I'm not sure which one.
Hello? Hello? Oh, come on, Mike. You're there. You got to be there. You can hear us, can't you? Oh,
Mike?
no. None of us are muted, are we?
Hang on.
Nope. We're all good. Mike is not muted either.
Mm-mm. No, but I wonder if he turned off the headphones or something like that. That's weird.
It had to have something to do with that.
Sorry, I have these and they died.
We can hear you. Can you
Well, that's
hear?
good. You know,
Yeah.
I can hear you now. I've got these plugged in.
That's good.
But anyways, yeah. So I've got like some Pipeworks. Salamoth have actually had two different caps in their short run here. Got this guy here and this guy here.
Oh yeah. You know. Oh yeah, that's right. You know, I was just there last week. I stopped in on the way home from work and got they had a dry Irish stout called the Billy No Mates, and it was actually really good.
I just saw that online.
If it's still around at the end of the month, I'll pick up a growler before the party.
Nice, nice.
It was just I ended up, I was stopping on the way home. I was just going to fill up my growler and come home. I ended up staying for. I was like, oh, I'll have a little glass of this one before I go, and it was good. It was it's one of those styles that's not, even when it's great, it's still just the dry Irish stout. There's nothing I could say that would make it amazing, even if it's perfect. But it was really good, and I did it again. It's always interesting because you're so used to Guinness, and it's got the Guinness with the nitro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this one was not, and so it just adds a little bit of difference to it. It still has the same taste, but the sort of mouthfeel is a little bit different with the whatever carbonation it naturally has.
Actually, we were just talking about that. I don't know if it was after, because we kind of did a non-show last week, and we were talking about how I think part of what made it so hard to get an Irish beer for this show was two things. One is that, really, there are only two indigenous Irish styles. There's an Irish red, there's a dry Irish stout, and that's pretty much it. You get like sweet stouts, like a milk stout there, but I'm not sure that's uniquely the Irish.
Yeah.
And then you compound that with the problem that Guinness almost did as much of a good job wiping out brewing in the rest of Ireland as Budweiser and Miller and Coors did in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And they have been a lot slower to come back, and it seems like a lot of the places that are coming back aren't doing a lot of Irish styles. They're like importing American talent. You get the person in America who's like, oh, I'd love to open up a brewery. I'm going to do it in Ireland because that would be awesome. And so you've got American brewers in Ireland, but they're not sending the product over here because they can't move it.
Right.
Because it's crowded out by the American scene. So those two factors are really interesting sort of, players in how to not get an Irish beer.
Right. Yeah. When I was over there 6 years ago, like in 2008, and it was, I had a few good, but everywhere. Everywhere was just Guinness and Budweiser and Carlsberg, and that was about it. And there was a handful of places. I remember I had the Kilkenny Irish Cream Ale, which is
It's actually pretty good.
And it was an amber, and I only remember it because I thought this was the one that was memorable. It was an on nitro tap, and it was a red ale. It was just really good, And they started selling it in some variety pack this year for the first time I've ever seen in the States. So I picked some up. I haven't had it yet, so I can't judge whether it holds up to my memory. But that was the only one that was memorable in Ireland, except the Guinness there. You hear people say the Guinness is better there, and it was. I thought it was better. I don't know if my theory was that, and I never even checked if this is even true, was that the cans here in the States say that it's pasteurized, and it's not. I don't think it was there. That was my guess that it was the difference, but it was definitely better. It had a fuller taste.
I
don't know.
A little bit of explanations to that.
Yeah.
if you're speaking just purely on a draft-to-draft basis, a lot of the U.S. bars don't use 100% nitrous.
Oh yeah.
They actually use a nitrous CO2 mix.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now, I mean, if you go to like a legit beer bar, they're gonna have 100% nitrous because they probably have like 2 to 6 nitro taps.
Okay.
But your regular like run-of-the-mill bar will normally do a nitrous CO2 mix and run like 2 nitro taps off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives a distinctly different flavor than 100% nitrous.
Okay, I never heard that.
And all of the actual Irish bars use 100% nitrous. So that was the first thing that I noticed when I was over there. It is served warmer, and people are like, "Oh, it's like super warm over there." It's not super warm, folks. It's really not. I really didn't notice that much of a difference in just plain Guinness.
Yeah.
But if you had Smittix,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was over there was 2005, so I mean that was right when Smittix was really hitting over here in the States. The Smittix over there was immensely different.
Really?
Than the Smittix here. It was like 10 years ago, so I can't really give you a fully detailed explanation. My palate's completely different now than it was back then.
Yeah.
That was really when I was first getting into craft beer. Was around 2005. So, but I can tell you right now that I drank a lot of Smittix here.
Yeah.
And there definitely was a big difference by the time I got over there.
That's interesting because and I always do to myself. I was like, well, this also could be in my head too. Like you go over there and like, oh, is it gonna taste? Oh, I don't know. I'll try and see. Maybe it does taste better. I'm paying attention and so I never really trusted my own palate then. I haven't really thought about it much since, so I'm kind of curious. I'll have to look that up.
I do think it's a lot of hype, and I do think that like some of it may be psychosomatic, where you just think I'm in Ireland, so the Guinness must taste better.
Right.
But I went over there like fully neutral, like not thinking that it was going to be better, and really I didn't really notice the difference with the plain Guinness.
Okay. At
all, other than the nitrous thing that I mentioned, and then it was a little warmer. But Amstel, man, I'm telling you, I'm sad that you couldn't get regular Amstel because it blew my mind.
Okay.
Like I hooked up with a guy over there who had just come back from doing an internship at Sam Adams, and he was in a discotheque. This bar that I went to, or this pub that I went to, it was a 2-floor deal. It was like right around the corner from where I was staying in Dublin, and the one entrance was ground level, and you walked in, it was like a sports bar. And then if you went down some steps, like right to the right of the main entrance, you went into a discotheque, and they had like a crap ton of taps down there. And so I started talking to this guy, and he was like, "Yeah, I was over in Sam Adams, so we're talking craft beer, loving it." Told me don't tip while you're over here because we don't do that. I don't know if anybody told you that.
That doesn't. No, I remember tipping because I remember being awkward with coins, the euros.
All right, so wherever you are was just greedy. They pay their bartenders more than they do in the States. Bartenders in the States, they work off of tips primarily. They actually have full wages over in Ireland. So the guy's like, no, like, because I went to tip him, and he's like, no, we don't do that here. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, okay, if you do that, you're going to get much better service, but we don't do that over here.
Right, ugly American, I'll take your money.
I mean, this guy was really cool, and the girl that was there was really cool, and I have a whole car bomb story, but that's for a different episode. Never asked for an Irish car bomb. And
Let's do.
Kevin, I wanted to show you this bag of all the caps that I was talking about.
Oh, what? Did you save them just for that board, or did you save them for a different project?
No, I've been doing this, and I kind of make, and I've got another one of these here.
Man, you can melt those down and make a car.
No, I don't know what I'm going to do with these, but I'm going to keep taking...
Like a matchbox, baby.
Is that this week's?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
this has been a while. No, I went through these. I literally went through these on my lunch break today because I worked from home, and I was trying to find unique Illinois ones so that I didn't have too many repeats in the thing. I didn't want any repeats in the map, so I went through all of them. It's amazing how quickly my brain now knows, like, what I literally played like a mental game with myself. Like, just looked at the cap. It was like Firestone Walker, California, Michigan, East Coast, West Coast. Like, I knew exactly the state in my mind. As soon as I looked at it, I was like, nope. Yep. And it's so funny how quickly you can do that. I was like, this should be a game. Like, I should just like flip the caps up and see who can name the state first or some shit like that.
Hey,
what's up, Greg?
Illinois? While you're here, when you're here next week or the week and a half from now, I'll save one of these.
Thank you. I was gonna ask you that. What's up, Greg? Thanks for joining, man.
Hey, yeah.
You just get finished doing a review?
I'm working on one right now. It's a local beer from a brew pub up in Blacksburg, where Virginia Tech is at. One of the guys that's in the brew club in Roanoke won the Brew Do competition, which is a beer festival up our back last fall, and they brewed his beer, which is an oatmeal cookie raisin stout.
Nice.
Oh, man.
It is freaking awesome.
Damn, that sounds good.
Awesome.
They had a dinner. They had a dinner up there last Friday, and about 20 members of the brew club showed up, and we had dinner and sampled his beer. They just put it on tap. They brewed about 300 gallons of it, and it's pretty awesome. I got a growler of it and brought it back home. And I normally don't do beers that aren't bottled or canned for everybody to be able to get their hands on, but I told him that I would review it, and it's pretty damn tasty. It's got cinnamon, and it's got oatmeal, it's got the raisins, it's got the cookie, it's got everything. I can see why it was the winner. It's pretty damn tasty.
That sounds
you
good.
toss some coconut, some caramel, and some chocolate in there, and you have Samoa.
A little bit of chocolate in there. There's not, and of course it's a stout, so it's got the caramel and the toffee going on.
All right, so add coconut, and then you have a Girl Scout cookie, and you're done. That wins hands down every time.
If you're sitting around eating oatmeal cookie raisins and cookies, I mean, it's a perfect pairing. It's perfect.
Nice.
You know what I had with dinner the other night? Have you guys? I don't know the guys from the Midwest. If you guys have had much from Perennial, do you guys ever get any of that stuff? They've got
I don't.
A little bit.
The Goose Island brewer. I'm trying to.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Everyone hasn't
Well,
everyone
they're-
worked at Goose Island at one point?
Yeah, exactly.
Almost.
Back in the day. No, they have Abraxas, right? Is that Perennial?
Yeah, they're the one that do Abraxas.
Yeah.
So they have a barley wine that's out, and I bought it it was on the slightly higher end. It was like a $15 bomber. It wasn't like crazy, but we were going out for my brother-in-law's birthday, and we went to this restaurant, and I got this pumpkin ravioli, and I had it with that beer, and it's a barley wine, but it was like, I think it was barrel aged, and there was something in it, the cinnamon with the pumpkin ravioli with this barley wine. I swear to fucking God, it was so good. It was like probably one. I was like, this needs to be on somebody's like food menu, because this pairing was the best I've had in a long time.
That sounds
Nice.
really good.
Yeah, so I highly recommend. I'm going to try some more of their stuff, because I just listened to one of the newer podcasts that's been out the last couple of years. Dan, I just introduced you to that Good Beer Hunting.
Yeah, that is a good podcast. That's probably one of the best I've ever heard.
It is hands down probably the best beer podcast that I can recommend to anybody. So if you guys are looking for one, listen to it. It's based out here in Chicago, but he goes all over the country and interviews everybody, and he kind of goes into other areas of craft, with spirits and coffee. He's interviewed the guy from Intelligentsia.
Mhm.
It's an amazing podcast, but he did one at Perennial that I just listened to the other day, and maybe go out and need to try some of their beers, and I really want to have some more of their stuff, because they do a lot of farm style saisons, and they also do a lot of sour Brettanomyces styles. They like incorporate that with different various styles. So
They're basically like a crooked stave, almost.
they're close. Yeah, they're kind of close. I mean, but I
Yeah.
think they're actually available like on the West Coast. I've heard in some areas, but
We
primarily
don't
they're
get them in PA. I'll tell you that.
No, I'll say that.
I'll have to send you some because it's
Actually,
amazing.
Mike, I looked these up here. This is not the brewer I was thinking of. We get these around here?
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
got a
they're out
bottle
of St. Louis. You can get probably, I think there's like 5 or 6 generally that you can get at Binny's.
I'm gonna have to look for it because I don't recognize. I looked it up on here online and I don't recognize the labels. And I was thinking of Penrose, by the way. But
Oh, okay.
No, that's Chicago. No, actually, the tech officer for our homebrew club, his cousin, I want to say, is either the head brewer or one of the co-owners over there. So whenever they have perennial, like tappings, like at a fest, he was just tapping for perennial actually at the Goose Island Stout Fest that was last weekend, and he's talking about actually getting one of their spent barrels for the club so that we could do some barrel aging, like a barrel aging project for the club. But it sounds like I'll have to ask him a little bit more deeply about how I can maybe access some beers I couldn't otherwise get. But yeah,
Well,
they're outstanding.
Trades for access with you guys is what you're saying right now. Huh?
I've got one. I grabbed one this year finally. I
got one.
It's one of those beers that it's on the short list of beers that have evaded me for years. So.
Well, hang on to it till you're in Chicago. We can all do a share because I really want an excuse to have it, and I don't want to just pop it open by myself. So I definitely want to share that one. But they do something similar to like the pizza port or the port brewing and Lost Abbey, where it's like the same brewery and they do the same. They work out of the same area, but they've got something called Side Project, where the head brewer of Perennial, he does a lot of blending of sours and things like that, and it's really hard to get any of those beers. I've heard you can't get them here. I think you have to go to St. Louis to their location to like stand in line for any of their releases. But I've heard nothing but amazing things about their Side Project too. So it's definitely a brewery to keep your eyes out on if you can't get any. Happy to share or I recommend you looking at the scene, anyone who can get you some, because that barley one is amazing.
I'd be very interested. I do a bottle share like almost every Sunday at my house, and I have the guys that I have coming over. They have contacts pretty much across the entire country, so we end up with some really good stuff. But the whole premise of it is to try to get stuff that we can't get around here.
Right.
So Perennial's definitely on that list. So I'll definitely set up a trade with you if you don't mind.
For sure, man. For sure.
Well, AJ, I just want to give you a quick shout out, man. I haven't talked to you in a long time since I seen you last time on Joe D's thing, and your life has changed drastically since then.
Yeah, buddy. That's an understatement.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I've seen what's going on, what you posted, and I just want to give you a quick shout out and thinking about you, and good to talk to you and see you again.
I wanted to reach out to you to try to get you in a hangout, so I might try to do that from now on.
Something you could talk about, AJ? Or what's the big change?
Most of it I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, not on a YouTube hangout. I'll gladly share my entire life story in a non-YouTube hangout.
Are you happy? Are you happy?
Am I happy? That's a relative term. It depends on the definition of happy.
Are you still buying beers are you still working at the brewery and buying beers and all that stuff, or what's up to you?
I'm not working at the bar anymore. We are still starting a brewery. That's going very well. We're very close to getting our license, so hopefully within the next 6 months we'll be able to actually sell our stuff. I'm in a much better place than I was. I will say that. I won't say happy, but I'm in a much better place.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Still drinking good beer. Still talking about it wherever I can. And
Well, good to see you. I haven't talked to you in about 6 or 8 months now, and I know your life has changed drastically since I talked to you last time. So
yes,
it's good to see you. It really is.
you too, my friend. I still watch your reviews like every time I see them. So
Thank you.
cheers to you.
They come up every day.
Every
How long is that?
freaking day.
That's so crazy. How long has that one been warming up for you, Greg, or is it?
Yeah, I've been sipping on this one. Like I said, I got a big growler of this when I was up there Friday, and I told him I would review it, and it's awesome. And I know y'all can't get it where you're at because he won the homebrew competition, and they brewed his beer there, so it's available at Bull and Bones in Blacksburg, and that's the only place you can get it. And I normally don't review those kind of beers, but I told him I would because he's a good friend of mine, and it's an awesome beer. My rule of thumb is I normally don't drink the same beer twice in the same day. And when I went up there Friday, it was so tasty. I drank 2 of them. And
Wow.
I had one before dinner, and then I had one during dinner while we were there. And it's pretty damn tasty. So tasty, I took a growler with me, a big 64-ounce growler, just in case it was going to be that tasty. And I knew it was probably going to be. That's why I took the growler. And it was. So I got a growler to bring home with me, and I told him I would review it. So I'm reviewing it tonight, and it'll probably post. Today's Wednesday. It'll probably post somewhere over the weekend or something.
Nice.
Very nice.
Do you ever use any of those growler savers to take something like that home and hang on to it for as long as you can?
I'm not a big fan of the growler savers. Once you pop the cap on and start pouring that stuff, you need to drink this. You need to drink those things within like 2 or 3 days, because the air you're introducing back into it is going to have an effect on the taste of the beer. And unless you can recarbonate it with CO2, I don't see how you could save it and lose the characteristics of the beer.
I agree with that. To a point, I've used it. I've used one that I got for Christmas a couple of times, and it does the job. But I guess you're probably right. It's it's not going to be exactly the same as it was.
Yeah, and I've used those on the 750 bottles. I've got those savers for those, but of course this is a big 64-ounce growler. It's got a great big neck on it and stuff. So it's still once you pour 2 or 3 beers out of it, and it holds about 5 beers, 16 ounces in it. And once you start introducing that air to it, even if you put a saver on it, unless you're recarbonated with CO2 and getting the air out of it, it's going to lose some stuff.
Well, that's what the saver does. It's got like a tube that goes down into the beer, and then it's got an attachment that seals it, and then has a CO2 cartridge on the side of it that reads.
Nice. I've not tried that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I used it for a stout that generally doesn't last very long, so it did the job for what it was, but it didn't do exactly what I'd hoped it would do. But I think with another style it might be pretty good. But it's got like a little tube off the end of it that kind of reminds you of like the old college kegger dispensers, and they but the little CO2 cartridge on the side it worked pretty well. It's kind of
it's nice. Not bad. That's nice. I've not tried that. As long as you're keeping the CO2 on it instead of regular air, yeah, I'm sure that's a win-win thing there.
Yeah, I actually know some guys that will get a couple growlers of something and bring it home and toss it in a keg and just put it in a kegerator on CO2.
Yeah.
And they're like, it holds forever.
You got the CO2 to it.
Kevin.
And this is not a big beer. It's only like 6.7, 6.9%. It's not like it's 11 or 12% or so. It'll keep for a while. If you're introducing CO2 to it, it's going to keep for probably 6 months or so. But I'd want to drink. It's only 64 ounces, so I don't have a problem drinking it within a day or two.
There you go.
If I'm getting growlers and stuff, it's normally for a bottle share. So I have like 5 or 6 guys that will kill a growler in like half an hour.
Yeah.
So I guess,
my other half, she's my bottle share. So once I pop the cap on it, it doesn't take long before it's gone.
I was going to say, it sounds like the moral of the story is hedge your bets and drink your beers.
Yes.
That's kind of the moral.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Greg. Just to let you know, it's really weird that you're here because I just talked about you on Sunday. I was doing a bottle share here at the house, and we were talking about Utopias. And I was talking about your collection of Utopias and how you were like, yeah, I'm gonna save one for you when you come out here. And I never made it out there yet. I still want to do it, man. I still want to come out because I still haven't had it.
And I've never tasted this shit before. And I've got like 6 or 7 bottles of it in there. I never.
Hold on. You have all that and you've never tasted it before?
Never tasted it. Never.
Really?
Never. All of them are still sealed up.
Shit, I'm coming out there soon then, Greg.
We'll do it. I swear to God, we will. We will do it.
I'm making a trip, and I'm bringing some of my homebrew stuff, soon-to-be brewery stuff, and some rare stuff.
And I've got such a collection. I've got beers sitting on the counter. I got beers. I got the closet full of beers, and the refrigerators upstairs and downstairs are full of. I just got beers from Lagunitas. They sent me shirts and glasses, and I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, man. Let's set something up in the next month or two, maybe.
Sounds good to me, brother.
Awesome.
I think you'll have to call it the horizontal vertical, because by the end you're all going to be horizontal.
If it's only like me, Greg, and his wife, we're screwed.
Well, we ain't gotta go far. Just go to the bedroom and fall down. That's what I'm
right.
There you go.
I've had Utopias once, and it was at a beer festival here in Chicago. They used to do one at the Wrigleyville location of Goose Island here in Chicago, and they had it open at a fest, and I was like, I have to try it. There's nowhere else I'm gonna have this unless I want to buy a bottle for what is it now, $125 if not more.
125. Wow. Why don't you crank that up a bit?
Yeah.
I haven't even
had about $75 to that here.
Get the hell out of here! I have not even looked into it. I haven't looked into that
like
until
50 or 300 in some places.
Yeah, I mean, the cheapest one I've ever bought was like $175.
And that's at cost. I'll tell you right now, like 175 is like current day is cost.
Yeah, that is.
Wow. Because like I said, when I used to look into it, it was like 120, and I was like, all right, I would think about that, but wow, really, it's gone up that much, or have you always seen it? Like
120, I would buy a case of it right now.
Man,
Well, guys, I gotta finish the final chug on this one and eat some dinner. So AJ, Dan, Mike, thanks a bunch. Appreciate you letting me jump on. Good to see everybody again.
You too, Greg.
I didn't get the invite this time. I seen that you were having it, and I said I was trying to get on. I'm going, why I don't have an invite.
Wow, I send you you're on the invite list every week, so
I got the invite, but it wasn't in the Hangouts where I could go into the question and answer and watch the review, but it wouldn't let me join in.
All right, well, glad you messaged then. You're welcome every week if you like.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm out of here, guys. Y'all have a good one. Cheers.
Right. Do the same. Take care,
Cheers,
man.
Greg. Cheers. So I'm gonna open another beer because we got 5 minutes. 7 minutes.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Chicago because the one and only time I was out there, I went to Revolution. I'm not sure if you guys
the pub or the pub or the distribution brewery on Kedzie.
I think it was the pub.
Yeah. What year was it?
That's where I got married.
What year was it? That's a really good question. It was when I went to Michigan and Indiana and Chicago all in 1 week.
Is that where you were with Chris?
Yeah, so probably like almost 3 years ago now.
Okay, so they would have had both by then. Yeah.
Yeah, they just turned 5 years
I
old.
had the best burger I've ever had in my life at Revolution.
The Working
It was
Man?
a burger with pulled pork on top of it.
Yes!
That's
my favorite.
Best burger I've ever had, and their beer was phenomenal too. So that made it even better.
Let me tell you. So AJ, picture that burger. They do a pizza with all that stuff, with the barbecue sauce and the pulled pork, and there's like sausage and yeah. It's all I ever get. I got married at that. I got married at that pub.
All right,
And,
so when I come out to visit you two, We're going there. We're getting pizza.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Well,
No,
no, it's
hang
also
on.
because there's that and there's Peace.
I was just gonna say, Peace is where you should get some pizza.
Because I've got to go to Peace. I have not been there yet.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I know.
Right. I'm not coming out there for one day. I'm gonna be out there multiple days if I come out to Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh
So
hell yeah!
We'll hit Revolution for pizza, and then we'll hit Peace for pizza the next day or whatever.
Yeah, I was just on a private tour at Revolution at their distribution brewery last Saturday, and it was a good tour, man. Man, they're getting huge. They're putting in a whole bunch of new tanks. They're busting down a wall and expanding.
Again?
Are they gonna start distributing anywhere?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Right now they're still just Chicago and Illinois as far as I know, but I forget what they said. They're busting down to I think was it 150 barrels or 1,000 barrels a year now? I don't know. I think they're doubling in size basically for capacity.
Wow. Because they were pretty big when I was there.
Dude, everyone's expanding. I was just looking online. So we've got 18th Street. They're doing a new location.
Right. Well, it's not a new location. It's basically right next door.
Oh,
there's an open space, and they're basically, I don't know if they're knocking down a wall, but they're.
Did you hear about it though?
Yeah.
It used to be a vault that was originally storing fur coats in the 50s or some shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're gonna have 5 new 15-barrel fermenters, and they're gonna have the first canning line, and they're gonna do a sampling room, and they're gonna do some sours there. It looks like barrel-aged sours, I should say.
Well, they're already doing barrel-aged and they're already doing sours, and it sounds like that the facilities are basically going to be the issue. It's where you're going to put the stuff now, and that new space is primarily, it sounds like, going to be for barreling, and they're going to have a tasting room maybe. I don't know. It's one of those things where we'll see what happens, because they've got a pretty good tasting area as it is, but they don't have a lot of space for capacity as far as brewing goes. So I think a lot of that is going to be a kind of split even between capacity and barrel aging.
Well, another one that's expanding is Haymarket. AJ, if you're when you're in Chicago, you got to go down. It's downtown in the west of the Loop. But Haymarket's amazing. Pete Crowley, he used to brew for Rock Bottom Chicago. He started this other location years back. They're moving to southern Michigan, Bridgman, Michigan. They're going to do a full-scale production brewery out there in a former state police post, off of the highway, which is kind of cool. But they're going to have 17 acres of wooded land that they're going to have a bunch of a beer garden outside, and there's going to be space for outdoor events and stuff like that. They're building a tap room and a kitchen for wood-fired pizzas, and they're going to do homemade sausages. It's crazy, man. In Michigan, that Wolverine Brewing that Chris is always talking about, they're doing an expansion. They're doubling. They're doubling their capacity too. It's crazy.
Yeah. Actually, this has nothing to do with capacity, but I thought I'd bring it up. The Thrillist right now is featuring a beer brackets based on regions as far as winning beers go. And there's a particular race that Mike and I have been eyeballing, and against all odds, Pipeworks has gone ahead of Bell's Brewing here in the region. It's crazy.
No way.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. But if anybody is
That makes me so happy.
if anybody is interested in kind of goofy stuff like this, they should just go to the Thrillist and check it out. Just the brackets. It's a fun thing to do. I don't think you can take it too seriously. Because there's just crazy stuff that happens, but it's been funny to see just how all this stuff unfolds, So
I'm sure everybody going to and voting on that site is friends with Chris Phillips, and they're very anti-Bells. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
We already know that. Trust me.
I don't know how much it checks up to that or not, but it's because that's not the only race, or I'm sure where there are goofy things going on. And that's part of why I think it's fun to check those things out, because it's the internet. Anything can happen. So
It's true. It's true.
Dude.
And just to let you guys know, if I do come out there, if you guys are close to Revolution, I have a friend who I'm not going to mention names, but if I make it out to Chicago, this friend will probably join us, and we'll probably have the best bottle share you've ever had in your life.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was out there, it was the best bottle share I've ever had in my life. It was the one and only time I was able to get the 2010 Vanilla Bourbon County.
Nice. That's a good one.
Mm.
I've got I've got plenty of bourbon counties. I've got a lot of Dark Lord starting all the way back to 2009.
If you don't have barrel aged, I don't even want to hear about it. So,
I drank all that, sir.
well, good for you, because like to me, regular Dark Lord is shit.
Yeah, if you have it fresh, but if you age it for 5 years, it's fucking fantastic.
Maybe 5. All right, I had it. It was like maybe 2 or 3.
Now 3 years
like-
should be beginning to get okay.
Also, you don't know what you're talking. You don't know what you're talking about until you've had every version, and I haven't even. I don't think I've even had every version. I've got every version, but like it's made with different ingredients every year, so it changes. And a lot of the times, when you first get it, it's just way too sweet. And
Yeah.
last year's was the first year they used unicorn blood, which is a coffee made from a roaster here in Chicago called Dark Matter.
Yep.
It's the best coffee ever made, first of all. If anyone's ever had it, they know this. It's absolutely my favorite coffee. But I didn't even have the Dark Lord last year. I bought 4 bottles, and I put 2 away. I gave 2 away. And I've done that for years and years, except I won't be doing that this year because I did not get tickets for Dark Lord Day, unfortunately. This is the first year I was
Yeah.
the first year I've not been able to in like 6 or 7 years.
There's something
I was
else
actually in.
Go ahead.
What's that?
No, I was just going to say
Go
there's
for
something else I'm pushing in its place, but I'm not going to mention it here because I don't want anyone else to know about it. So go ahead.
First of all, there's nothing that can put in place of Dark Lord. It is something that has molded, I think, other beer festivals to be what they are, but it's the first of its kind, as far as I know. It's just fun, and it was always a good time. It's just gotten a little too popular and very mainstream. I mean, everyone knows what the Dark Lord is, but you know, I don't know. It's fun, but you know, I'm just gonna have to try to continue my vertical by trading and get a friend who got tickets to try to sell some of his bottles to me. So
There you go.
I mean, I'm sure you do, but if you have something to trade, I could probably broker that for you. So.
yeah.
There you go.
I mean, I've got plenty, so we'll talk once you're planning a trip out here. Dude, this new beer.
I mean, it doesn't even need to be like when I'm planning a trip out there. Like I can broker that trade probably anytime, because I know that my contact is gonna have it. So.
Nice.
Nice.
Like it really just matters what you have to trade, and if he's interested, and then I can make that happen for you. So.
Sweet. Dan made some.
Well,
good
now
trades
is he Midwest
last
too,
year.
or?
I can't say.
Okay, because if he's Midwest, that makes it problematic simply because it's sort of like I've got the same base to get trades from that he does. You know what I mean? It's like he's in the same distribution footprint, then I'm screwed.
He has a cellar full of Cantillons.
Damn.
It's funny. I've never had a Cantillon.
I think like 1984.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I've never had Cantillon. I just had a discussion about that while I was on
Never
that
had
tour at
Cantillon?
Revolution. No.
Oh my
Never
lord!
had it. I know. It's been. I've not gotten my hands
I'm
on
bringing
it.
it with me if I'm coming to Chicago.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
I had a
I can
discussion
get it
about that.
anytime I want, so it's. I mean, I have multiple sources for Cantillon.
Nice. All right, we should probably spin the wheel here. Either of you guys want to add something? Throw something out because we are going to take off the Irish beers, obviously.
Yeah. I was going to say, should we pair up the beer with balls with the beer with vagina?
No.
No. Or should we
I don't
just
even
get the
know.
beer with balls off? Because
I mean, is that even going to... I mean, what are we going to do with that?
No, we're not. No, and that was something that sounded funny at the time, but
If anything, that's just like a strong beer, in my opinion, and I think we've already done 10% or higher. We've got actually 13% or higher on the.
Oh, that's right, because
wheel.
AJ suggested that last week. So, all right, so we'll take BWB off.
All right, we've got Corked and Caged. We've got Everybody Does the Same Brewery again. Local brewery seasonal. Brown Ale, Milk Stout, Strange Ingredient, Death Label, Doppelbock, Malt Liquor, Beer You Can't Pronounce, Barley Wine, Local, Collaboration, and Wild Card. So what's coming up? We've got Spring.
Yes.
We've got.
So we've got like Maybach's, but that's already on there, isn't it?
How about a wit? Okay, so this is generally not my favorite style of beer. Wit is, most people just the hoppy beers are what's popular right now, and it has been for a while now. But so Coronado is a brewery out of the San Diego area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They just showed up.
They're definitely in California. Right? So they just kind of popped around in Illinois, and this is amazing. They've got the Orange Avenue Wit,
right?
And it's not very hoppy at all. And what's cool about their first of all, their bottles are really sweet. They're laser etched. It's really nice. This is a 5.2%, like a Belgian style, wit beer with coriander and orange blossom in there, and I'm telling you, man, I just had the orange IPA, the blood orange IPA from Dark Horse.
Yeah.
And how was that? It's bland. Like, it's not. Here's my opinion on IPAs with orange is not a way to go. IPA.
I will disagree, but I will give you the example after you're done.
Okay. Yeah. My reasoning behind that is because I think, first of all, IPAs is a style that you can brew, and it's why it's first of all, it's a popular style, but it's also a style that a lot of brewers will do because you can hide a lot of mistakes underneath the hop characters, whereas a beer that's not as hopped up, you have nowhere else to hide, and you've got a lot of it's all out there. And so this beer, the one from Dark Horse, I don't know. I don't feel like there's as much orange as there is in this one, but I think it might be because there's less hop character. It's not a high IBU beer, but the orange comes out, but this is really nice and clean. I could drink this all summer long.
I totally want to send you a 6-pack of our beer called Raging Lawnmower, which is a Belgian wit. We use fresh lemon and orange peel and coriander, and I'll tell you, like if you just say wheat beers, I hate wheat beers. They're like my least favorite style of beer ever. Wit beers, a little different, because you have that Belgian characteristic to them. But before my roommate introduced me to his recipe for this beer, I really wasn't a huge fan of wit beers either. And now, I can drink this beer every day.
And I will say that the exception to the IPA rule is Pipeworks Crimson Grouper IPA, or I forget if it was a IPA or Imperial IPA. But
I've actually never had that one, so.
The next time you see it, definitely grab it because the fruit flavor was up front. It was a lot like AJ was talking about grapefruit sculpin in notes earlier. There you go. And it's very much like grapefruit sculpin in the sense that fruit flavor is very much up front. It's a little bit different because with grapefruit sculpin, it doesn't taste as much like the fruit as it does like the rind. It definitely tastes more. It's very grapefruit forward, but it's not like the flesh of the fruit.
And that's what I think makes Raging Lawnmower as good as it is, because we use the peels. Like, we use fresh peels in it from both lemon and orange, and then we back it up with the coriander. Yeah. And it's just very fruit forward, without using the pulp at all, like the meat of the fruit.
Right.
And it's just like I normally don't brag about like our beers, but like this is legit, like probably our flagship beer once we open. Like,
I was gonna
we can
say
sell it to anybody.
there are two where you do. That's the one, and the other is your black IPA. And it sounds like from everything I've heard about it.
Yeah, you haven't even had it yet.
I know, but I've been hearing about it. So, now I hear you.
All right, we're running a little late, so I'm gonna ask you guys, what do we want to add to the wheel here before we go give it a spin? I just took off the Irish beer. I took off, I think, beer with balls. So I don't think we need that.
No, we don't. No, we've got 13%
I
or
think I
higher.
actually added the last one, so I'm gonna default to Dan on this one.
Do we have import on there?
No.
Let's put import on there. I'm not even going to pick a country because imports are so neglected at the moment that it's something that people need to probably look into more.
Cool.
That's a good point. I support that.
That's in. All right, so let's go ahead and give it a little spin. See what we land on.
Spinaroonie.
Spinaroonie Danny, what do you got here?
Same brewery. All right.
Uh-oh.
So wait, do we have to pick one now, or do we pick one in the week ahead, or how's that work?
I'm gonna have to post this early and see what we can all do. I don't even know what breweries do we all have in common. I mean,
There are a lot.
I know there are.
Stone, Dogfish Head, Sierra Nevada.
We landed on this before, so what brewery did we do last time? I can't remember.
Oh, we did Sierra Nevada last time. Lagunitas is another one.
Let's do Dogfish Head. Let's do Dogfish Head. I haven't had one of their beers in a long time, so I'll make sure I'll post it maybe tomorrow or so we can kind of give everybody a heads up ahead of time.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think Brandon was the only one. It was either Brandon or Skeller or both who had a little trouble with that. I think it was Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
In Texas, they have availability, but Louisiana, they don't. But Brandon, I know, is like Louisiana and Mississippi, so I don't know where he's.
We'll see. If it's an issue,
all right.
We'll find out. But let's go for that.
All right.
They've been
Sounds
doing some
good.
cool stuff on their YouTube channel too. They've been putting out a lot of good videos.
Nice.
So there was something I was going to mention, but now I can't. It's slipped my mind. Screw it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. We will see you next week around the same time, and we'll be drinking some Dogfish Head beers. So thanks, and cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, folks.